I think that it's important to understand that the government needs to kind of create the rails for this to kind of
Yes.
move forward. But really, it's the private sector actors that have to step forward. So, in the act that now is gathering steam, could you take us and walk us through what the act will do, and then what will be the expectation from the private sector to move forward, and what incentives are created for them to do so? Because at the end of the day, private sector works on incentives, right?
The bill establishes a government corporation called the Strategic Resilience Reserve Corporation of the U.S. So this is an idea that I had proposed with a colleague, Dilip Singh, a couple of years ago. And, it's a government corporation. It has reserve in the name. There is a reserve aspect to it where it would build physical stockpiles where necessary. But the focus of it really, and where its tools are oriented, are on building that private market ex-China and really encouraging private sector actors to do so, whether it's, miners, processors, benchmark, exchanges, whether it's CME or new companies like ABAX, and intermediaries to all play their part in building up that market. And so there's a couple of things that I think are important about its structure. One, it's an independent corporation. When you're thinking on the timeline and horizon of what a market needs, you need long-term durable policy. I think, over the past couple of presidential cycles, whether it's, the LNG pause in the Biden administration, or, some of the stuff that's happening right now with wind and solar, or, you need more continuity than presidential cycle, election cycles can afford. And so this would be an independent government corporation that would be empowered to kind of enact long-term policy. It's got a very diverse toolkit. So a lot of the things that we've talked about today in the toolkit, it can deploy, but with the purpose of incentivizing more market activity.
If you look at all of the things that we've talked about, the policies and the executive orders that have kind of laid a very clear understanding that we need to move in the direction of securing our critical mineral supply chain. There are some fundamental actions that are being taken as LOIs at this point, right? Letters of intent. We still have to see how those are actually executed, hopefully in the short term or the near term anyway. And then look forward. What would your recommendations be at this point so that we can continue to see actionable steps moving forward to secure that critical mineral supply chain ex-China? And then kind of where would the Secure Act come into play, and how that would push that further forward with real actionable, executable activities?
Yeah, so I think with, if we're talking about, given that we're still in kind of LOI stage, that they're still kind of working through implementation details, I think one thing I would like to see, I think they are doing this, but see kind of a more strategic effort, is bringing in some of these exchanges, companies, like CME, ABAX, and then more of these intermediaries to really talk about what it would take to bring more liquidity to these markets. What is the right sequencing of us? What kind of support do they need to build new benchmark contracts and other types of, it's not always going to be benchmark contracts. Some of these aren't, I don't think there's going to be a very robust futures market for scandium. But, there are versions of this that you can do to bring more price transparency to the market. Metals Hub is a company that has set up a monthly auction for lithium that's serving quite well, and kind of serving well as an alternative price benchmark to the Chinese, GFEX version of it. So I'd like to see more kind of engagement with that as part of these efforts. But look, I think, I think that it's really good that we're getting a creative use of the toolkit. I would like to see a bit more focus on competition. A lot of these are individual deals with companies, which isn't, sometimes that can be necessary, but I think there's a way to structure some of this to be a bit more market, company agnostic and more market sector. Actually, in that sense, Vault is probably the better version of it, where it's, it doesn't seem like they're putting their thumb on the scale of an individual company. So I'd like to see kind of more of that. And I think that fits in quite well with the Secure Minerals Act, where we would establish a strategic resilience reserve. We could take these efforts and really supercharge them at scale. but put them on a more durable, sustainable path.
Awesome. Well, I know that I've taken up an awful lot of your time, but before we go, I'd like to find out what's on your to-do list right now. What's on your desktop as far as where your effort's going to go in the short term?
Yeah, I mean, I think the big thing is the Secure Minerals Act. I really want to see that push forward. We've got two potential vehicles to pass that under this year. The lead champion of it, Senator Shaheen on the Senate side, is retiring this year. I think it would be great for her legacy as a stalwart of the Senate for us to pass this. Todd Young is one of the best senators on these issues as well. So it'd be great to see that. We have either a national defense authorization that this could be very much part of, or the reauthorization of the Export-Import Bank, which would be another vehicle. So that's a big thing. And then I think really just trying to amplify some of these initiatives and how this can be useful more. So certainly with everything happening in the Strait of Hormuz and the war with Iran, there are kind of vulnerabilities that are arising and supply chain issues. And I think demonstrating how something like this can be useful in these situations is definitely going to be an important part of this.
Well, thanks again, Arnab. I really appreciate your time, your thoughts, and your insight into what's going on. I also agree with the direction that we're moving in and some of those things that are pending, and hopefully those things will get enacted on very, very soon. So appreciate your time again, and thanks again, Arnab.
Thank you so much for having me. Real pleasure.
And to everyone who listened or watched this episode, thank you for joining us. Be sure to follow us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts to keep enjoying the Minerals and Metals Initiative.